Welcome to the DMF. I'm Justin Younts. This is part 12. All right, now this is my little inside the actor's studio kind of questions I ask. These are very short. Do you have a
Go for
beginning
it.
of the day routine? Do you have a beginning of the day routine?
Oh, I do. I I schedule my day.
Hmm.
The first thing I do is I sit down after I turn on the computer and by hand on a pad of paper. I sketch,
Yeah.
the start of the day to the end of the day. It's hard to see because of the stupid camera, but all right.
Yeah, I can kind of see
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. It's literally I sketch out everything I'm going to do. If I've got podcast interviews I'm going to do, I've got literally 5 different projects in various stages of production right now, and it's probably sound editing. If I'm not doing anything else, I'm sound editing or I'm scripting the scripts. I'm also working on I'm finishing a book. I wrote a book called
wow.
It's called How to Live Bullshit Free: A Practical Guide to Not Killing Yourself.
Oh, I love it. I want to read it, and I gotta have you on.
It's about what happened to me in 2016 and my realization that I thought I could kill myself and I would disappear from my family, my community with minimal harm, and that everything that the reason that I was wanting to kill myself was because I hated myself because of what an adult did to me when I was 14. That was, and in the aftermath of the experience, as I began to take stock, I realized that I had come within literal inches of almost myself to death. And I thought that was hilarious. And as I looked around and the fact, okay, wow, that was a serious piece of almost killing you. I suddenly saw all the other ways that, various other kinds of bullshit had infected my life. Some of it is meaningless. If you lie up under 5 minutes, you won't be late. Yes, you will. Yeah, you can live with that kind of bullshit. But the other stuff, the bullshit in my relationships, the bullshit in the way that I was approaching my life, I was approaching my relationships with everything. Once I suddenly, and you got to deal with your own bullshit. Before you deal with anyone else's bullshit, deal with yours. Yep. And you'll find if you deal with your it's so time consuming.
The only person
you deal with anyone else's bullshit.
The only person you can change is yourself.
It was a revelation. I suddenly found peace with the rest of the world I had never had. I found peace with myself I had never had. So I am living the last chapter, and it's really the creation of my company and podcasting, where transitioning from being a writer to being a storyteller, and then finding this purpose to tell stories. That my purpose is to tell every story I possibly can, and podcasting became the vehicle. Holy cow! I've got a purpose and I've got a method, and so I live every single day with pure purpose. Every single day. I walk around in a perpetual state of bliss. The mood stabilizer, that just keeps the darkness in a box. It's not a happy pill. I have a great therapist, but that's perspective on everything. That's someone checking my work all the time. Okay, I consume copious amounts of THC. I smoke a lot of dope every day. I've now gone, probably this is longer I've gone between puffs than I've gone in quite a while. But I smoke copious amounts of THC, but that really just slows me down. It doesn't. I walk around with purpose and at peace with myself and at peace with the world. And so, I walk around in a state of bliss. Was that the answer to the question?
No, that's perfect. Do you have a nighttime routine?
Yeah, it takes too long. My nighttime ritual takes forever. Yeah, there's the stuff you got to do before you go to bed. And one of the things I do before I go to bed, I clean my pipe. I've got a fantastic pipe that I highly. It's called it's called a genius pipe, and it's metal, and it's entirely metal. It's like a giant one hitter. You put stuff in there. It's entirely magnetic, so that the inside, those little dots are all baffles, and so that's the filter. And so you put it here, take your hit. There's no and it's all magnetic, so nothing can fall. The top goes on, so you can keep stuff in there, you can drop it and you won't break it. And I've broken quite a few pipes. So, but you gotta take care of your stuff, because cannabis can make a bit of a mess. So you gotta clean it every day. And I clean it at night. That's the last thing I do, is I clean my dope, my genius pipe, and then I go to bed. That is very much a part of my nighttime ritual. It's until I've done that, I got miles. I got promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep.
Awesome. Do you meditate?
I'd say I do a lot of meditative things. The closest thing I get to meditation is I play tennis several times a week.
That's great.
And tennis, the head that I get into now when I play tennis, going through the thing that I went through, I played tennis my whole life, and up until the past 7 years, when I finally stopped hating myself, I hated tennis because I was mediocre at it. And so rather than coach myself, I beat the shit out of myself.
Yeah.
Well, that's no way to get better. And it wasn't until I stopped beating myself up and I began coaching myself instead. And suddenly, not only did I begin to play better, I began to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And it is now, I love playing tennis. I learn things about my life and work from tennis, and my life and my work informs my tennis game. It is all, yes, the people I play with,
perspective
most of the time there's a woman who I play with a lot, who I've played with for almost 20 years. And when we play together, we never play games. We just hit. And that's all I want. I'm not interested. I'm not playing her. I'm playing me.
Yeah.
And my goal is to be the best me I possibly can. If we keep score, I find myself always playing the score, and I'm going to play defensive. If we don't keep score, every single point can become an incredible rally.
That's yourself. You can just go with the flow. So yeah, I would say that's meditative.
And as a result, the tennis has improved, and it's what we both agreed we're looking for. Is we refer to it as Zennis, the Zen of tennis, that place where I'm not even thinking about it anymore. Suddenly the tennis animal inside me has taken over completely, and it's doing what it does.
That's where you want to be when you're acting, is in that Zen-like place of, I don't know what's going to happen next. It's hard to get there.
You're in the moment.
That's where you want to be.
Totally in the moment, and you are trusting yourself. It's you got the skills. Just do what you do.
Exactly.
Just be.
One thing I wanted to suggest to you, I do Transcendental Meditation. It's really helped me out. Since you're in LA, that's like right down the door. It's a million of those.
Yeah.
But I would suggest looking at that just to check it out, to see if it would add anything.
I think you're right. I think I would benefit and learn a lot from meditation. And I think
here's the thing that makes it different than all the other meditations. They give you a mantra. So you're focused on the mantra, and you're not focused on your hands or the other things. And it's helped me so much.
I believe consciousness is a higher power. We really don't know how it works.
No.
We don't know how you and I are having this conversation. We don't. Hey, where do memories go when we're not thinking them? We couldn't tell you. We have no idea. Our eyes can only see visible light. There are many other spectra of light that we can't see. X-rays, all kinds of other rays. Information, that's information blasting past us constantly that we're oblivious of. Information we can't process or collect in any way. Lots of sounds we can't hear, things we can't smell, lots of information that's always flying past us. Constantly, we're oblivious of it. We don't have the equipment.
Yeah.
Our equipment can handle consciousness to a point.
Yeah.
But beyond that, some people have the ability to experience consciousness better than the rest of us. I suspect consciousness is a way to access information that our normal senses just can't. Yeah. But it takes training. It takes time, practice.
The problem is we live
and
in
I
a
think
society.
meditation is a way to get there.
Yeah. We live in a society that's always teaching us to move forward, think forward instead of being in the now. So it's hard for us to stay in that Zen-like consciousness because everything is pushing us out of it.
A terrific point. Yeah. You're absolutely right. No, it is one of the things. It is on my bucket list.
Yeah. You should
It
try
absolutely
it.
is.
If I can, I've suggested this to so many people and I'm like, just once you try it, you'll know what I'm talking about. I can't explain it to you.
Not a doubt. There's not a doubt in my mind that you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I know that you are right. It's just a matter of
Because for
discovering
me,
it.
it gave me a place to go when I, just, if I'm not feeling good, just go to that place, go to that mantra, go to that. What meditation. And I did other meditations, but this is the one that kind of like, I thought was the best for me. I mean, but it's just that having a place to go. Like I wish when I was a kid, I knew about meditation because I would have been like, when I'm not feeling good, I can go here. And I think that's what we always need is that place to soothe the two. I mean, we don't have
Now
it.
more than ever in this crazy world a world that feels out of control. Yeah, a place
Yes.
where you're not out of control, where you have at least a modicum of control. Yeah, sounds like a wonderful, warm, welcoming environment.
Yeah,
for sure.
What do you do for physical fitness? You kind of answered this with
Tennis.
tennis. Cool.
Tennis.
What are you
Tennis is my
reading?
thing.
What are you reading?
I don't have reading. I don't do as much as I wish I could. I subscribe to the New Yorker. I subscribe to the Atlantic. I listen to as many pieces as I can. I read what I can. I've got a ton of books that I need to get to that.
I have to schedule it. That's how I make reading work for me.
The couple of books that are sitting that I've got to get to immediately are books that I'm in the process of turning into podcasts.
Oh, that's cool.
I'm doing one with a former CIA officer named John Kiriakou called Dead Drop. John was during the war on terror. He was one of the first people we grabbed. We were trying to figure out who was responsible for 9/11. We thought there was a guy named Abu Zubaydah we thought was the number 2 at Al Qaeda. When we captured him in Pakistan in 2002 or 3, I forget which, John Kiriakou was his handler for the first 60 hours that we held this guy. In the end, it turned out this guy, Abu Zubaydah, was not the number 2 at Al Qaeda. He not a prince, but not the number 2 at Al Qaeda, but he gave us an incredible amount of very valuable intelligence data. John, like I said, was his handler. John found out after they moved him to a couple of black sites, they tortured that man. They waterboarded him 82 times, despite the fact that he told us everything and he'd given us great information. When John heard that, he ratted out our torture program and spent 2.5 years in federal lockup because he ratted out our torture program. John was the guy who ratted out the torture program. That's
what they wanted to do to Snowden. Why do you think Snowden fled the country? He knew what would happen.
So I'm doing this podcast with John called Dead Drop. One of the what John wanted to start the podcast with, this is about how to be a spy and how not to be a spy. And the first thing he wants to do is the story of a guy named William Bradley. He was the station chief in Beirut. He was kidnapped and murdered by terrorists. And he made every mistake. This is an experienced intelligence officer who made terrible mistakes, which is why he got captured and why he's dead. So for John, it's an important lesson in what not to do. So I gotta read the book and I gotta know the whole story backwards and forwards so I can figure out how to tell this story. So a lot of my reading, unfortunately, is work related.
But that's good reading.
I don't get to. I stopped reading fiction years and years and years ago, not because I don't like fiction, but because it was too, it was interfering with everything else that was happening in my head.
Interesting.
To be thinking of these other characters when I need to be thinking of my characters. And I didn't want them infringing. So and the fiction I used to read all the time, I'm a big John le Carré fan. Everything he ever read, I'm a big John le Carré. I love that world.
I would say it would add to your characters. I don't know, but I'm just going by a feeling here. I don't think it would hurt your characters. I think your characters are very strong, and I think it would just add to them. But that's just me.
I disagree.
What are you listening to?
My favorite group, every time they're in town, I'll go see them, is a group called Thievery Corporation.
Okay. Yeah, I think
it's world music, but there's a combination of all different musical styles. I have two kids. I'm 66, but I had kids older. So my son is 26 and my daughter is 23.
Cool.
And I'm very, what they listen to is a lot of what I hear whenever they're over. I'm very aware of what they listen to. My son is very much into urban hip hop. So a lot of that plays and he lives in the house with us. So a lot of that plays all the time. So our tastes are incredibly eclectic. When my daughter was a kid, what I wanted to put into her head and the music that I surrounded her with was strong, independent female voices. Janelle Monáe, the Veronicas, just all these strong, dynamic female voices, and that's really what she gravitates towards these days. So that worked good.
That's great. What are you watching right now?
Last thing we just saw. Oh God. Okay. Up. Well, Somebody Somewhere.
No. Well, so how can people reach you?
The best way is at costardandtouchstone.com. That's https:// Costard and Touchstone, COSTARDAND, Touchstone, TOUCHSTONE.com. Costard and Touchstone.com. That's where you'll find links to all of the podcasts that we're doing and information about all the podcasts we have in development or in various stages of production on their way to being here. All
right. Well, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate this. It's been great.
Well, thank you so much for having me. This has been fun. Terrific conversation we've had.
This is awesome. All right. Thank you. Thanks. Welcome. Thanks for being on the DMF. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.